Hi, I'm Jude from headphone.org, and this is the CanJam Singapore 2018 preview. CanJam Singapore takes place March 24th and 25th, 2018 at the Pan Pacific Hotel in Marina Square. Singapore is the largest headphone city community in the world by a wide margin and the fourth biggest country community. When you consider the size of Singapore, that's an unparalleled level of personal audio enthusiasm per square kilometer. Now let's get on with the show. As always, there will be products at this CanJam that you hadn't seen before. In fact, the first segment of this video kicks off with new gear right from the get-go. Now, because we just rolled out a CanJam New York, our time to shoot was quite limited, so this is actually one of our shortest CanJam preview videos in years, and I hope you enjoy it. I wanted to take a moment now, though, to thank our CanJam Singapore sponsors. They're Sennheiser, NXT, Hi-Fi Plus, and Headphonics. Now, because I've got a plane to Singapore to catch, let's get right into it to take a look at just a sampling of some of the gear you'll be able to audition at CanJam Singapore 2018. Let's open up this CanJam Singapore preview video with a couple of Schiit product launches. Of course, I'm talking about Schiit Audio and two very groovy new products from them, and you'll be able to hear them at SLT Technologies exhibit upstairs at CanJam. The two new Schiit Audio products launching right now, right here, are the Schiit Audio Lear 3 and the Schiit Audio Jotunheim Multibit. The latest generation Lear, the Lear 3, is a fully discrete, current mode, non-inverting 6SN7 bipolar hybrid with constant transconductance output stage. The single-ended Lear 3 was designed to be suitable for driving just about everything. In early use so far, I've used sensitive IEMs, for which the Lear 3 was quiet and sounded great, and there's also enough drive to power the Hi-Fi Man HE6 or Susvara with up to 4 watts RMS per channel into 50 ohms, 6 watts RMS into 32 ohms, and 9 watts RMS into 16 ohms. The Lear 3 does not draw on the Lear 2's design. It's a completely new amp with two new technologies called coherence and continuity that are worth reading about. And you will be able to read more on this subject today in Jason Stoddard's latest chapter of Schiit Happened in his dedicated forum area on Headphone. Now, as a tube amp enthusiast, this latest tube hybrid from Schiit Audio excites me for its sound and for its versatility. Also, the Lear 3 now supports the same modules as the Jotunheim, so you can outfit it with a Schiit Audio DAC module or a PhonoStage module. This Lear 3 is kitted with Schiit's new multi-bit DAC module, and I love it. Yes, I did say a multi-bit DAC module because, again, today Schiit Audio is also unveiling the Jotunheim multi-bit. So today, along with the Lear 3, we have Schiit's first all-in-one products with Schiit's multi-bit DAC technology. Now, I've seen many products by other manufacturers touted as modular and upgradable, but few companies honor that concept and promise better than Schiit has over the years. So yes, if you have a Jotunheim already, it can be upgraded with the new multi-bit DAC module. Again, look for a lot more detail, background, and discussion in Jason Stoddard's latest Schiit Happened chapter in Jason's dedicated area on Headphi's forums. SLT Technologies will also be featuring MrSpeakers products, and the biggest news there is MrSpeakers' brand new electrostatic headphone, the MrSpeakers Voce, which they've been working on for quite some time. So how does the MrSpeakers Voce sound? Is it in league with the likes of Stax? Yes, it is. The Voce is less bright, less incisive than my Stax SR009, yet also not as warm as my SR007 Mark II. The Voce deserves a place in this league, so it's an absolute must here at the show. Of course, the planar magnetic headphones that MrSpeakers is so well known for in our community will also be on display, including the Aeon and Ether families of planar magnetic headphones. Finally, I just found out that SLT Technologies will also be featuring the excellent Sonoma Acoustics Model 1 electrostatic headphone system. Now, the team behind the Sonoma Acoustics Model 1 includes people with a lot of studio time in their careers, so it shouldn't be surprising then that the target sound signature for the Model 1 was a more neutral studio reference. To my ears, they achieved this. Anyway, SLT will also have several other brands at their exhibit, so budget some serious time upstairs for SLT. FiiO is increasingly challenging the state-of-the-art price-no-object audio gear, yet still not wavering from their mission to do so at reasonable, affordable prices. One of the coolest new products from FiiO is this. This is the new FiiO Q5 flagship Bluetooth and DSD-capable DAC and amplifier. The Q5 Portable Dac amp combo lets you feed it via analog line in or digitally from USB, optical, coax, Lightning, WM port, or Bluetooth with aptX and AAC. The Q5 is incredibly flexible and tremendous for on-the-go use. The Q5 uses AKM's AK4490EN DACs through the XMOS chip for better performance. And by the way, the Q5 can decode PCM up to 32384 and DSD up to DSD256. As an iPhone user, I really love that the Q5 is MFI certified for use with iDevices and that it even comes with a Lightning to micro USB cable. When possible, I like to use the Q5 instead of Apple's Lightning headphone dongle. The FiiO Q5 has an interchangeable amp module design that's compatible with the X7 digital audio player amp modules. It comes with the excellent AM3A module with both single-ended and balanced outputs. Speaking of the X7, FiiO will also have their X7 Mark II digital audio player at their exhibit. If you long for a flagship class portable digital audio player but you don't have top dollar to spend on one, the FiiO X7 Mark II is outstanding. It is a flagship class player with a very thorough feature set and tremendous audio engineering behind it. FiiO's ability to squeeze high levels of sophisticated audio engineering into affordably priced audio gear is currently unparalleled in my opinion. Anyway, make sure to check out their new FiiO Q5 DAC, their X7 Mark II portable digital audio player, and the rest of FiiO's lineup at CanJam Singapore. For CanJam Singapore this year, there are a total of only 4 seminar sessions over the 2 days, and none of them are repeated. Also, seating is limited, so plan your schedule accordingly so that you don't miss the seminars you want to see. On Saturday, March 24th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., Rob Watts of Chord Electronics will be giving a talk titled Beyond Off-the-Shelf DAC Chips, Timing, and Filters. This session is like going to a masterclass on DAC design beyond using off-the-shelf DAC chips and designs, including fascinating discussion about creating the audibly perfect filter. From 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, March 24th, we'll have a discussion panel titled Headphone Measurements with Headphone Engineers. This panel will include Axel Grell from Sennheiser, Nicolas Debard from Focal, and Dan Clark from MrSpeakers. I'll be moderating this discussion as we talk about what headphone measurements can and cannot tell us and how these gentlemen use headphone measurements in their day-to-day work. On Saturday, March 24th from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., we'll explore the development and voicing of the Sennheiser HD820, the upcoming closed-back reference class flagship headphone from Sennheiser. Axel Grell will talk about the HD820's concave glass reflectors, acoustic absorbers, and other unique HD820 developments with the goal of crafting the most transparent-sounding closed headphones in the world. On Sunday, March 25th from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Rob Watts from Chord Electronics returns to discuss the Chord Electronics Hugo 2, the new Chord Cutest DAC, and the M-Scaler and Chord's Blue Mark II. This is a great presentation that helps you understand the engineering behind the Chord DACs used by so many of us, including plenty of very compelling audio measurements. Now, speaking of Chord Electronics, they will be exhibiting at CanJam Singapore, so make sure to stop by their exhibit to listen to the new Cutest DAC, the Hugo 2, the Mojo and Poly combo, and the Dave and the Million Tap Blue Mark II. Also, you'll be able to talk with Rob Watts at their exhibit when he's not busy with his seminars. Sennheiser will be at CanJam Singapore with several new products you'll definitely want to hear, beginning with their upcoming closed-back reference class flagship headphone, the Sennheiser HD820. And by the way, as I understand it, the prototype HD820 they'll be showing in Singapore is further along than the one we heard at CanJam New York, which I think is very, very exciting. The HD820 does feature some very unique engineering and design innovations. For example, rather than traditional dampening behind the drivers, Sennheiser engineered Gorilla Glass concave reflectors that direct the reflected sound to acoustic absorbers on the perimeter of the ear cup, and that's just one of its many innovations. Sennheiser's Axel Grell will be at CanJam Singapore to present details of this and other HD820 innovations, so don't miss that presentation and definitely don't miss your chance to hear the HD820 at their exhibit. Sennheiser will also feature the new HD660S, the successor to the legendary HD650. The new Sennheiser HD660S is more efficient and it has a lower impedance of 150 ohms. These characteristics make it an easier pairing with a wider variety of source gear, including portable gear. I also find the HD660S to be more resolving than its predecessors. I imagine both the upcoming HD820 and the new HD660S will be driven by Sennheiser's latest desktop DAC amp, the HDV820. Purpose-built for driving high-impedance headphones, the HDV820 has been one of my favorite solid-state amps to pair with the HD800 and the HD800S. I expect it's going to perform similarly with the HD820. And while you're at Sennheiser's exhibit, be sure to also hear their new IE800S in-ear monitor. The single-driver Electrodynamic IE800S is a refinement of their popular IE800. It offers a more sophisticated and polished sound signature than that of its predecessor. It also comes better equipped with cable configurations that support 3 different connectors: a standard 3.5mm unbalanced plug, a 2.5mm balanced plug, and the new Pentacon 4.4mm balanced plug. This makes the new IE800S a refinement in terms of both sound signature and versatility. Deconi Audio is going to be at CanJam Singapore, so make sure to bring your own headphones and earphones to their exhibit. Why? Because they manufacture premium replacement earpads for many models of headphones that may improve your headphones' comfort and can even improve the sound of your headphones. Now, Deconi also makes replacement ear tips that fit many different models of IEM, so check for those too. At CanJam, you can take your headphones to Deconi's exhibit and try different Deconi earpads on them. You'll be able to hear the differences for yourself, and you'll even be able to do before and after measurements, as Deconi will have a measurement set up there. Make sure to go to Deconi's website at deconiaudio.com to see if they have earpads that fit your favorite headphones and ear tips for your IEMs. If you don't feel like bringing your own headphones to CanJam, Deconi will have plenty of headphones on hand for you to try with their earpads at their exhibit. Dakoni will also have their new headphone, the Dakoni Audio Blue. The Blue is a Fostex-Dakoni collaboration, a custom variant of the Fostex T50RP Mark III. Dakoni and Fostex retuned the T50RP Mark III with a smoother sound and with more extended bass, so make sure to hear the Blue at Dakoni Audio's exhibit. Effect Audio has been a very respected audio cable maker in the most sophisticated, most discerning portable audio markets. They're based in Singapore, perhaps the most knowledgeable community of IEM enthusiasts in the world, and while they do make cables of all types, it's perhaps their in-ear monitor cables that Effect Audio is best known for. Now, I know most of you in the Singapore HeadPhi community are already familiar with Effect Audio, but if you haven't already tried your favorite in-ears with their upgrade cables, then do yourself the service of swapping out your cables with theirs, listening for yourself, and then be prepared to not want to go back to stock. There's a reason several IEM companies choose Effect Audio's cables for their IEMs at audio show exhibits, with some even shipping their IEMs to customers with Effect Audio cables included. We recently received some Empire Ears IEM loaners and all had Effect Audio cables attached. This is the 64 Audio TIA Forte, one of my all-time favorite IEMs, improved with the Effect Audio Horus cable. The Effect Audio Horus uses multi-size stranding, ultra-high strand count, ultra-purity Ono continuous cast gold-plated silver conductors. This is the Noble Audio Prestige, this one upgraded with the Effect Audio Lionheart cable. The Lionheart uses both gold-plated and silver-plated copper conductors, and I can't imagine going back to stock with either of these now. Again, make sure to stop by Effect Audio's exhibit to try your own IEMs with their cables. I mentioned Empire Ears just a moment ago, and they'll be exhibiting right next to Effect Audio, so make sure to stop by their exhibit too. They'll be showing 2 new lines of IEMs with 7 new models. The 2 new lines are the EP line and the X Series. The EP line will consist of 3 multiple balanced armature IEMs. The X Series line will have 4 dynamic and balanced armature hybrid IEMs. We had a couple of the new models for just a short time recently, and we were impressed by both. I want to hear the rest of the new Empire Ears models at CanJam. Also exhibiting nearby will be ClearTune monitors, also known as CTM. They'll be showing 2 new models they recently announced from a new line called the DaVinci Series. There's the DaVinci Series 9, which has 9 drivers, and the DaVinci Series 10, which has 10 drivers. Now, at a show last year, Cesar from CTM let me briefly audition one of the 2 new models. I can't remember if it was the 9 or the 10, though, but it was very impressive, and at CanJam this time I'll listen to both, so make sure to stop by CTM's exhibit too. Biodynamic will be showing their 3 new wireless headphones, the on-ear Eventho wireless, the over-ear Amaron wireless, and the in-ear Zalento wireless. All 3 have aptX HD for higher resolution Bluetooth. These are the Eventho and Zalento wireless models here. And all 3 also work with Biodynamic's new MIY app, which stands for Make It Yours, which sonically personalizes the headphones for you based on the results of a hearing test you take using the MIY app. Biodynamic will also be giving away 2 of these exceptionally groovy special edition Biodynamic Custom Street headphones specially made to commemorate CanJam Singapore 2018. Am I eligible to win these? Anyway, for a chance to win and to hear the rest of their line, make sure to visit Biodynamic's exhibit. Angxiang will be at CanJam Singapore, both upstairs and downstairs, with several key brands and products in both locations, so make sure not to miss either location. Upstairs in their Angxiang and AV1 exhibit, look for Wu Audio to be featured very strongly. Wu Audio will be featuring their entire lineup, including their new flagship WA33 amplifier, and also what is still probably my very favorite product from Wu ever, the WA8 Eclipse transportable tube amp. While it's certainly not ultra lightweight, the WA8 Eclipse is a tube amp I can take with me anywhere. Also, because Wu makes perhaps some of the lowest noise tube amps, I can even use the WA8 Eclipse with IEMs, and with most of my headphones it sounds like an excellent desktop full-size tube amp. I love this thing. They'll also have the MySphere headphones there, the upcoming spiritual successor of the AKG K1000 by the men behind the legendary AKG K1000. Now downstairs, Angxiang will be strongly featuring more products, including the full lineup from Astel & Kern. Astel & Kern's Con remains one of the strongest values in premium portable players, with extended battery capacity and enough drive power for just about any headphone. The flagship Astel & Kern AN Ultima SP1000 will also be there. It's what I consider still one of the 2 highest standards of currently available portable audio players. It's like a desktop source that's pocketable. Also, look for one of my favorite single-driver universal fit IEMs, the AK T8IE Mark II, which Astel & Kern co-developed in partnership with Biodynamic. Again, make sure to check out all of this and more at Angxiang's exhibits upstairs and downstairs. Hi-Fi Man will be at CanJam Singapore, and 2 exciting and very new products they'll have for you to audition at CanJam will be the new Shangri-La Junior Electrostatic headphone system and the very affordable Hi-Fi Man Sundara. Like its big Shangri-La sibling, the Shangri-La Junior system consists of both an electrostatic headphone and a companion electrostatic headphone amplifier. I didn't have the chance to hear the Shangri-La Junior at CanJam New York, and I won't miss my chance this time, I promise you that. It's only a fraction of the price of the full flagship Shangri-La, but I need to hear how they compare. The other big new release from Hi-Fi Man is the quite affordable Hi-Fi Man Sundara planar magnetic headphone. For its incredibly reasonable price, the Sundara elevates Hi-Fi Man's entry-level planar magnetic gain. For the Sundara, Hi-Fi Man developed a new diaphragm that's 80% thinner than the HE400 series before it. They describe the resulting sound versus the HE400 as more lush and detailed. I think that's a fair assessment, as is the following. The Hi-Fi Man Sundara is, in my opinion, the strongest value for the dollar product Hi-Fi Man has released not just recently, but ever. The Sundara is one of those headphones that many could happily live with as the one and only, and with a minimal wallet hit. Make sure to hear the new Hi-Fi Man Shangri-La Jr., the incredible Sundara, and the rest of the Hi-Fi Man product line at CanJam Singapore 2018. Upstairs at CanJam Singapore, make sure to look for Project Perfection's exhibit, where they'll have Final's new flagship planar magnetic headphone, the Final D8000. The D8000 is superb, simply outstanding. Of the currently available planar magnetic headphones, I can't think of another that's quite like the D8000. It uses a new and heavily researched and developed planar magnetic design by Final that they're calling AFDS, or Air Film Damping System. The D8000 has excellent extension in both directions with outstanding resolution throughout. The Final D8000 is a big headphone with big, beautiful sound. They'll also have Stax electrostatic gear up there, featuring the new portable Stax DAC amp combo, the Stax SRM D10. With the very portable, rechargeable battery-powered SRM D10, I now have an absolutely bonkers hotel rig when I bring my Stax SR007 Mark II or the Stax SRL 700 to pair with it. So anyway, make sure to check out the Final D8000 and all this Stax gear and more at Project Perfection's exhibit upstairs. One of the most sophisticated markets for in-ear monitors, actually maybe the most sophisticated market for premium IEMs, is Singapore. The Singapore community knows great IEMs when they hear them. What's the best sounding IEM I've ever heard, regardless of price or form factor? To my ears, that goes to Shure's fully electrostatic KSE 1500. However, listening to the KSE 1500 means having to always use it with its companion portable electrostatic amp unit. It's not nearly as quick to plug and play as a standard form factor IEM. So what of those? The standard form factor IEMs is the best I've heard regardless of price. What's the best sounding IEM to my ears that I can plug into my smartphone, or better yet into digital audio players like these? My answer would be the 64 Audio TIA Forte. From its imaging, solid lifelike objects in airy space, to its resolution, it takes a full range electrostat or full range planar like the Audeze LCD-i4 to rival it, to its extension in both directions and everything in between. Its bass presentation is pretty much exactly as I like it, strong, pronounced in a way that's entirely realistic and physical to me, and still fast, detailed, and controlled. Its mid-range is rich enough in detail and presence to make well-recorded voices uncannily real, tangible, and the one area that even the KSE 1500 may take a back seat. As I've said before about the 64 Audio TIA Forte, for my tastes, it simply does not put a foot wrong. If you can pick one IEM to listen to at 64 Audio's exhibit, and 64 Audio will be at CanJam Singapore, make it the 64 Audio TIA Forte. They'll also have their new models like the TIA Trio and the U12T and the rest of their line, of course, so make sure to budget a lot of time for 64 Audio's exhibit. When you have one exhibitor that represents so many different IEM brands in what is perhaps the most concentrated community of premium IEM enthusiasts, what do you get? You get the biggest, busiest exhibit at CanJam Singapore. Of course, I'm talking about Music Sanctuary. When you see the guide, you'll see it says in their entry, find us at tables 1 through 6. Yes, they're filling 6 entire exhibit units. This year, Music Sanctuary will be representing Hansound Audio, Lime Ears, Custom Art, Symphonium Audio, 64 Audio, and many other brands. They'll have in-ears of all types, universal fit and custom. They'll have cables and accessories, and are pretty much a show within our show. Music Sanctuaries is a fun, exciting exhibit with crazy amounts of gear to audition. I'd tell you not to miss them, but trust me, I don't need to say that. You can't miss them. Jabin will be exhibiting at CanJam, and as always, they'll be representing many brands, including one of my very favorite brands in the industry, the enigmatic Japanese IEM maker FiiO. Like many IEM enthusiasts the world over, I'm a huge fan of Tsuyama-san and his company FiiO. Unfortunately, for those outside of Japan, it can be very challenging, almost impossible, to buy FiiO products. I've been very fortunate that Tsuyama-san made me a FiiO MH334 Custom, which may be the most immaculately crafted IEM I have. I also have the rare FiiO Universal Fit from Tsuyama-san, and the TE100, which was co-developed by both Fostex and FiiO. Yes, I'm a FiiO fanboy, and I can't wait to see what from FiiO Jabin has at their exhibit. Of course, Jabin also represents plenty of other companies, so make sure to pay them a visit. One More is obviously well known in the community for their high-value in-ear models, like the One More triple driver in-ears and the One More quad driver in-ears, but most of you have probably already seen and heard those. So at CanJam Singapore, the One More product I think you really most should check out is One More's new closed-back triple driver over-ear headphones. One More describes the driver complement on this headphone as one 40mm graphene dynamic driver, one ceramic tweeter, and one bass reflector per side. The bass reflector is, I believe, another name for a passive radiator which can extend bass response. The headphone has a clearly bass-emphasized sound signature, but is otherwise surprisingly balanced. For a smaller closed-back over-ear, it also images well. Now, without prior knowledge that this was a multi-driver design, I wouldn't have guessed it, so One More's engineers have integrated the drivers quite nicely. Don't let the triple driver over-ear's youthful styling fool you, though. Its sound signature is most certainly refined for what it is and worthy of an audiophile's attention. Audeze will be at CanJam Singapore, and most of you probably know their over-ear headphones very well already. However, in a land where IEM enthusiasm is perhaps unsurpassed, the Audeze products I want to highlight are their magnificent and unique IEMs. These Audeze IEMs use planar magnetic drivers with huge 30mm diaphragms. They're also open back, which is quite unique in the IEM space. Now, on the more affordable side of the Audeze IEM price spectrum is the Audeze iSign LX. The LX is the latest model and provides resolution per dollar that's really hard to beat. Now this is the flagship Audeze LCD i4. I compared the LCD i4 to my Shure KSC 1500 in an anechoic chamber once, and I can say the flagship Audeze IEM resolves at the level of the Shure Electrostat. The LCD i4 is magnificent and what I feel is one of the 3 best IEMs I've ever heard. Now if you haven't already heard Audeze's IEMs, put them at the top of your list at CanJam Singapore. Lend Me Your Ears will be featuring products by Alpha and Delta, like the Alpha and Delta D3 and the D6. They're describing the D3 as having a balanced signature with a hint of warmth, and the D6 as having a more neutral sound signature. Having had the chance to listen to these for a short while, I'd say that's a fair assessment of both, but I would add that the D3 has some bass emphasis. I was especially surprised when I saw the very affordable price of the D3, which gets all of its sound from one 6mm microdynamic driver per side. Now, while the D3's braided 4-core silver-plated copper cable is non-detachable, it looks and feels like it alone would be worth more than what they're charging for the D3. The Alpha and Delta D6 uses one custom-tuned 10mm dynamic driver per side. To my ears, the D6's signature is on the more nimble, airy side of the spectrum and consistent with their description of it. It's something that those seeking minimal emphasis and minimal drama will likely appreciate. Because I'm a fan of the truly wireless Bluetooth earphone form factor, I've been having fun with Alpha and Delta's new Yop. The Yop was designed to address 2 of the most common problems of this form factor: poor battery life and poor fit. The Yop can run for up to 6 hours per charge, and a cool wearable charger will get you 8 more listening hours. Now, as for fit, the Yop is a behind-the-ear earhook design. That, combined with the spin-fit ear tips that come with it, and it stays very firmly planted while I exercise. The Yop is also IPX5 water resistant, so sweat and rain should not be problems at all. As for sound signature, the Yop has a tastefully executed bass-emphasized signature, which I quite like, especially for a fitness and on-the-go headphone, and I've been enjoying the Yop. Now, in addition to Alpha and Delta, Lend Me Your Ears will also be featuring products by FLC, the fragrant Zither, otherwise known as TFZ, and VSonic. Mezzo Audio will be showing their new Mezzo Empyrean flagship planar magnetic headphone co-developed with Renaro. In addition to looking and feeling incredible, the Mezzo Audio Empyrean has engineering details I've not seen before it. For example, the traces are divided into 2 distinct coil patterns. One is a spiral coil concentrated over the ear canal opening, and this spiral coil is more efficient at reproducing mid-range and high frequencies. Positioned physically above that, covering the upper part of the diaphragm, is a switchback coil pattern that's more efficient at producing lower frequencies. It's a very unique design, and there's even more going on in the Empyrean that we don't have time to cover in this video. I still haven't heard the latest tuning as they approach final production, so I'm looking forward to that and strongly encourage you not to miss the Empyrean. Mezzo Audio will also be showing a prototype of a new premium universal fit IEM called the Rai Penta, Rai meaning heaven in Romanian, and Penta referring to its 5 drivers per side. In each fully CNC sculpted chassis are 2 dual balanced armatures and 1 electrodynamic driver. I haven't heard it yet, but Mezzo is aiming for what they're calling a reference class balanced sound signature with natural tonality. As you can see from the images, the Rai Penta has some interesting details inside and a gorgeous design. Anyway, make sure not to miss the Empyrean, the Rai Penta, and the rest of the product line at Mezzo Audio's exhibit. At CanJam, KN will be showing a new high-end amp called the HA300. The HA300 is a 300B Class A vacuum tube headphone amp, and as you can see, the HA300 is a gorgeous 2-chassis design with an outboard power supply. Now, in an amp like this, the transformers contribute to much of the amp's sonic character, and KN custom-built the output transformers for the HA300, and they provide 3 sets of impedance-matched outputs for a wide headphone impedance range. The HA300 uses 2 300Bs, 2 6SN7s, and 4 22DE4 rectifier tubes. It can output up to 5,000 milliwatts per channel into headphones and up to 8 watts per channel into speakers. This amp looks like pure lust, and most importantly, it sounds the part every bit as much and maybe even more. If you've never heard a good 300B amp, visit KN's exhibit and hear what an outstanding one sounds like. There's magic in a well-designed, well-executed 300B amp, and KN's HA300 is in every single way fitting of that description. I've used the HA300 with the Focal Clear, the Hi-Fi Man Susvara, the Abyss Headphones AB1266 Fi, and the Sennheiser HD800S, and all were driven beautifully by it. I'm definitely not done experimenting with headphone pairings for it. Make sure to also check out their new iDAP6 desktop network player, the iDAC6 digital analog converter, and the IHA6 fully balanced headphone amplifier. This trio together is an impressive system, and I like to use it with the Hi-Fi Man Susvara. Anyway, check out these and the rest of KN's line at CanJam Singapore. Some years back, when I first heard the D-To Answer Truth Edition, I knew the audiophile in me, who sometimes has the desire for a thicker tonal balance, had found a nice companion for the mood. Every time I thought of D-To after that, that sound signature would come to mind. That is, until they released the flagship, the Dream. I remember seeing the new titanium chassis flagship and thinking that it had one of the coolest surface finishes I'd yet seen. It looked like it had just been pulled from a hot forge with its rough carbon black surface. Now, expecting it to be perhaps a refinement of the D-To Answer models before it, I was actually really surprised to hear a more realistic, more svelte, more transparent mid-range. It was decidedly more resolving and more audiophile friendly to my ears. Now, you should still be able to audition both the Answer and Dream models at D-To's exhibit, but there are two newer models you definitely don't want to miss. I think they've been teasing prototypes of these two newer models at shows since last year, and they're called the D-To Fealty and Fidelity. Now, the Fealty and Fidelity are like fraternal twins, and these twins have more in common with the Dream than the Answer. And while there's obviously a familial sound signature shared between the two, there are no doubt differences. That kind of thing makes comparisons more fun to me, because comparing things that are more alike than they are different actually helps lead to a clear preference for one. Again, both new models draw from the flagship D-To Dream, and there's no mistaking that when you hear them, but I do believe they're going to be quite a bit more affordable. Now, as for the differences between them, I believe the Fidelity is supposed to be more monitor-like and the Fealty more musical, and I definitely have a preference for one. Now, the fun part will be having you guys go to D-To's exhibit, auditioning the two, and figuring out and discussing which you prefer. Anyway, make sure to stop by D-To's exhibit at CanJam and audition the Fealty and Fidelity as well as the rest of D-To's line. If you read automotive enthusiast magazines, I'm sure you've seen spy shots of future car models clad in all kinds of zany paint schemes and skins to disguise the car's appearance. But we've never seen this done in our industry before. This is a heavily disguised prototype of an upcoming IEM model from Visioneers called the Erlkönig. Now, I know my German friends are no doubt going to be giggling about my pronunciation, but we're going to have to go with it. Visioneers is being very secretive about the Erlkönig, and it won't be unveiled in its final form until this spring. In a funny twist, even though they were willing to send this camouflaged working prototype to us to listen to, Visioneers will not tell me much about it. Here's what I do know, and I had to learn it from their now public video teaser. The Erlkönig is the first universal fit IEM from Visioneers. Until now, everything they've released has been custom fit only. Also, it's a 13-driver, 5-way system. I believe there will be multiple sound signatures, by the way, but for this prototype, there's only one signature. Now, they say it'll have a premium shell design and a revolutionary faceplate design, but obviously I can't see that through the camouflage. And that's it. That's what I know. Again, though it'll apparently have multiple sound signatures in its final form, this prototype Erlkönig has only one signature. And the tuning they chose for this prototype is excellent. And I'm assuming this tuning will be available for you to hear at CanJam Singapore too, and that's a good thing. Now, this Erlkönig prototype has something I've described before as a safe sound signature, a safe tuning. And I mean that in a very good way. It's a sound signature that has very wide appeal, the kind of tuning that almost crosses the boundaries of preferences. And it takes more than a natural even-handed tonal bounce to pull that off, and it certainly does have that. It also requires nice imaging and excellent resolving ability for accurate timbre and richness, and it has those things too. I have a strong feeling this will be one of the highlights of the show for many of you, so make sure to hear this heavily disguised Erlkönig and the rest of the Visioneers line at their exhibit at CanJam Singapore. Upstairs at CanJam Singapore, several brands will be featured by Zeppelin & Co., and among those companies will be Advanced Sound. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Peter and Hannah from Advanced Sound visited Headphone HQ, and they left us with a few of their models, which they'll also be showing at CanJam Singapore. Now, this is the Advanced Alpha, which is Advanced's full-size, open-back planar magnetic headphone. It has 96mm diaphragms and comes with two sets of pads that allow you to adjust the physical field, the comfort. And of course, the pads also have an effect on sonic tuning. Now, I prefer the thicker pads and have really been enjoying the imaging of the Alpha with those thicker pads. The Alpha's bass also extends very deep without much in the way of emphasis if you're after more linear sounding bass. And as planars go, the Alpha is also quite comfortable and lightweight. This is the Advanced GT3 in-ear monitor. The GT3 has a single dynamic driver per side, and Advanced has said that it has sound characteristics extremely similar to full-sized electrostatic headphones. While I feel that may be too ambitious a claim, there is prominent incisive treble presence and good bass extension with absolutely no bass emphasis to my ears. Now, according to Advanced, the GT3 is in mass production with pre-orders being accepted on their website. Shipping is expected to begin on or before May 14th. The Advanced GTR is their more compact over-ear planar magnetic headphone. Perhaps it's the softer, smoother character up top, but I find the GTR to be quite easy and enjoyable to listen to. I might even prefer it to the Alpha. Now, according to Peter at Advanced, they've been developing the GTR for the last 2 years. They finished the design and have prototypes and part suppliers lined up to enter mass production. I believe they'll soon be launching a crowdfund to help bring the GTR to market. Anyway, make sure to look for Advanced at Zeppelin & Co.'s exhibit upstairs. Zeppelin & Co., by the way, will also be featuring products by other companies including Oris, Felix Audio, Kennerton, and ZMF headphones. Jomo Audio will be showcasing their entire line with many different custom and universal in-ear monitors at CanJam Singapore 2018. I haven't had an opportunity to hear them all yet, but one that I have heard is this, the Jomo Audio Haka. Now, available in both custom and universal versions, the Haka is a single armature in-ear that may very well change what you think about single armature in-ears. The Haka sounds to my ears surprisingly full, unexpectedly weighty, and not at all thin or anemic. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the full range presentation that the Haka does offer, not to mention the outstanding coherence of its single driver design. The standard universal Haka is also generously appointed in its styling, with gorgeously sculpted piano black shells and solid brass nozzles. It's as beautiful as it is understated. If you've been searching for an elegantly simple in-ear that balances precision with fullness, give the Jomo Audio Haka a listen at CanJam Singapore 2018, and also be sure to audition the rest of Jomo's product line. At CanJam Singapore, Stereo, the headphone concept store, will be representing a couple of brands I really dig with Ifi Audio and Noble Audio. When you visit Stereo, the headphone concept store's exhibit, make sure you audition this desktop headphone amplifier. This is the Ifi Audio Pro iCan. The Pro iCan is the audio reviewer's dream app because it'll drive pretty much every headphone you can think of. It has a versatility that may be currently unparalleled. Now, the Pro iCan is essentially both a solid-state amp and a tube amp. It has 2 individual solid-state and tube amplification sections. Most importantly, in all modes, the Pro iCan is a fantastic sounding amp. Now, using Ifi Audio's IE match circuit, even the most sensitive IEMs won't trip up the Pro iCan. And if you're running a headphone that's the opposite of sensitive, the Pro iCan's 14,000 milliwatts of max output will drive even the hardest to drive headphones with ease and authority. That one amp does these things and everything in between is absolutely astonishing. Now, if you need that kind of versatility but on the go, the Ifi Audio Micro IDSD Black Label Portable Dac amp combo provides a DAC that'll decode PCM up to 32768 and DSD up to DSD 512. It also has an amp that'll drive up to 4,000 milliwatts into 16 ohms. The massive popularity of the Micro IDSD Black Label is not at all surprising to me. Anyway, check out the Pro iCan, the Micro IDSD Black Label, and the rest of Ifi Audio's line at Stereo, the headphone concept store's exhibit, and they'll also have the full range of Noble Audio in-ear monitors there, both universal fit and custom. While that was a lot of new gear, that's still just a fraction of what you'll be able to hear and see at CanJam Singapore 2018. Again, CanJam Singapore is happening March 24th and 25th, 2018 at the Pan Pacific Hotel in Marina Square. Now, of course, we didn't have time to cover every exhibitor, so scrolling on your screen right now is a list of all the companies who will be exhibiting at CanJam Singapore this year. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in Singapore and on the forums at headfi.org.